Welcome back everybody to another part of our WhatsApp flow, and in this part I am gonna incorporate Agora UI kit for adding some video calling functionality. Now originally I was planning on only making this available to members, but I've in the meantime decided that I will be building out a slightly more advanced version for members, as well as give them access to some other code, such as generating your Agora token, call token inside of Flutterflow itself, which in return limits the amount of calls made to your Firestore in Cloud Functions, which also decreases the price that you would pay at the end of the day, right? Cloud Functions can become quite expensive. So I've also just released the full-on course by implementing getStream.io video calling inside of Flutterflow. The course is an advanced course. We really deep dive and custom code from scratch our video call screen and also audio call screen, adding a lobby, managing user controls and video options prior to joining the call, everything that you would expect that is inside of the call functionality when you think about Zoom calling or Google Meet, for example, right? So please do feel free to go and check it out. It's currently on BuyMeACoffee and Patreon, and it is at a decreased amount. All of my widgets are, while I'm holding an October special. All right, now that we have introductions out of the way, let's get jumping into this and quickly build out our Agora UI kit call screen. Now I have gone ahead and I've added the code for you for reference inside of Discord. It's underneath the marketplace in free code, right? You will see there's a title, a post called What's Flow Part 4, and in here you'll find both Agora UI kit video screen, and you will also find the upgraded Ghost Coding basic voice channel. So the reason why there's an upgrade to the voice call screen is because it requires a new package, right? So if you remember correctly, our old Ghost Coding basic voice channel widget made use of Agora RTC engine 5.3.2, where we are now making use of 6.3.2, which means some of the code changes. Now I've also added a specific feature, which is noise suppression, and you can feel free to disable this wherever you want. On my side, I've enabled it because it works nicely, and there's some further documentation. Now all of this is added inside the Discord channel under the basic voice channel dot. Right, but we will also go through this in our 4.2 when it comes to upgrading this widget as well. Right, let's move this to the side and let's get jumping in to our things here. Alright, now if we have a look at our documentation, I'm going to provide the link for you in the description below. This is the voice calling. Let's close this out. There we go. If we look at our video calling under Get Started and UI Kit Quick Start, we'll see that there's a few things that we need to do. The first thing is we need to import, right, our UI kit, and then after that we need to create an app ID, channel name and token that we need to pass to our application. So let's start with creating a new widget, and we can call this widget whatever we want. In my case, I'm going to call it the Agora UI Kit video screen widget, and we can then add a few parameters. The first parameter that I'm going to add is going to be the app ID. Let's remove the caps lock there. So app ID is going to be string, it's not nullable. I then want to add a channel name. Oops, there we go. Channel name. It's also going to be of type string. We also need a token, right? So I'm going to pass it in as token ID, and then finally we need to specify who is our user. So let's pass in our username, and it's also not going to be nullable. Now there's one more value, right, that we want to add, and this value we're going to be adding because we want to control our action flow outside of the widget code. So we want to control what happens after we end the call. So let's call this the end call action, and we're going to make this of type action, and it can be nullable. That's fine. Now you can go ahead and let's already add our import here. Well, we'll come and add that now. So let's just first add our boilerplate, right? So we can go ahead and we can say copy to editor, and let's add our import. Now make sure that you've now added Agora UI Kit 1.3.10. I will add the links for you in the description below. So let's just quickly go there. Ooh, let me open it. Let's duplicate this one. And then just say Agora UI Kit .dev. There we go. Alright, so I'll add the link for you in the description below, and we'll also be upgrading to the Agora RTC engine. So you can grab both of these and then just come and upgrade your 5.3.1 and then add your Agora UI Kit 1.3.10. Alright. Okay, so let's get hopping into this. I am going to code this outside of Flutterflow, so I'm going to save my widget, right? And then I want to go to my VS Code. Now I will add for you the link in the description below if you would also like to make use of the Flutterflow Visual Studio extension. They've got some good quality documents for installing the extension inside of your Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to head there right now, and I am then going to just pull latest, and yes. Now I already have the project open here, so let me just do that, and let's minimize this a bit. Let's bring this over. Let's do this. Right, there we go. Right, so now we can see everything. So let's go back to our UI kit. Right. Alright, there we go. It has now brought in my Agora UI Kit video screen, and there I can see it. Right. So I'm going to close this out so that I have a larger view here. Ooh, I don't like that. That should be like that. Don't know why that was so wrong. So I'm going to save that already. Okay. So we now have our app ID, we have channel name, and we have token. Although for me, I'm specifying it as token ID, there's channel name, and there's app ID. Now, after this, if we have a look here, we need to start and create an Agora client. Now, this Agora client is going to be of type client, and all these values. For me, I'm just going to do it slightly different. So for me, I'm going to create a variable that is called Agora client. So late Agora client is equals to, well, is client, right? So let's do that just like that, and that's fine. And then we need to add our init state action, right? Because we need to initialize our entire call screen, and to do this we need to specify a few things. The first thing is the initialization, so super.initState, like that. And then the next one is to say client is equals Agora client, right? And where do we get this? We get this here, so Agora client. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this out just like this here. Let's do that. All right. And UID, I'm going to make 0. Then token will be widget.token ID, right? Because remember, we are getting this from our parameters. So we need to specify widget.token ID, right? And we're going to do the same thing for channel name, and then also our app ID. Now there is just one more value that we want to put in here, and it would be of username. So widget.username. And that is it. We can now finally call our initialization. So I'm going to say init Agora and close that out. Now we now need to create this init Agora action. So I'm going to say void init Agora. It's going to be an async function. Now we need to join our call, right? So I am going to say await client well, I want to say initialize, right? Like that. And that is all there is. Right, let's go down a bit. There we can see there is some value here. There we can see void init Agora async await client dot initialize. Now finally we are getting to our build here. But before we do that, I also just want to make sure that I'm handling the disposing of our widget correctly, right? So let's make sure that there's no memory leaks. There's the widget isn't staying active after we've left it, right? So let's do a dispose method. So dispose and remove that. So there we go. Now in it, I am just going to say super.dispose for now, and that is it. Now there's one other thing that I want to add in here, right? Let's think about it. If we have a video call, we think about WhatsApp, or we think about Skype or Snapchat, or whatever the case might be. As soon as we enter that call and it's a video call, then our screen's sleep timer no longer takes effect, right? So if your sleep timer is set to 30 seconds on your device, then your phone doesn't close the screen or turn down the screen or anything while you're in the middle of the call. It stays on. So we need to go and override that. And now we're going to do it is by making use of the package keep screen on. Now you can copy this and just add it to your Flutterflow application. So let's do that. You can just add it in here, Flutterflow. I already have it added, I believe. Let's have a look. Yeah, I already have it added here, so keep screen on, but you can just add it and remember to click these buttons. So I'm not going to go and add it now again. Let's go back to the keep screen on package, and we can see that we need to import something. So we need to import this statement. So let's go back up to our code. Let's go a little bit down. Let's add our import, and let's scroll down. Now we want to add in that we want to turn on the screen, and we want to do it when we initialize our call, right? So let's go here under init Agora. Let's do keep screen, and then we turn it on. So on, let's set that to true. And then finally, we can go and to our dispose method, we can say keep screen on dot turn off, right? And now we will turn it off as soon as we dispose this method. So we will be resetting what we've passed in for, keeping the screen on. So now it will no longer keep it on. And once 30 seconds has passed, or a minute, or 10 minutes, or an hour, depending on what the device settings are set to, then this widget or the device screen will turn off as per normal, right? As per usual. Right. So now we are finally ready to build out our widget. So let's have a quick look here. We can see that for them they have a material scaffold app bar. We're not adding any of this since we are doing it inside of Flutterflow. So we already have the scaffold and app bar. We just need to start building out somewhat here from this stack, right? So I am going to copy out this entire stack like this. So let's just grab it out. And I want to come to my container here like this, and I want to say the width, right, needs to be of widget dot width like that, and the height can be widget dot height. All right, and now finally let's add our child, and we're going to add our stack. Now I am going to edit some of these out. For example, I don't want to enable host control, so I'm going to turn that to false. I don't want layout floating. Instead, I want 1 to 1. Now, if you want to know where to get these values, I'm going to add in the actual documentation for you, right? So if we have a look at our Agora UI kit package here, we can go to API reference. Let's go to library, and then we can see that we can search the API docs. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to search the layout, right? And we will see that it's type enum. and we have the 3 different types of layouts. So floating would be the same value here. So you will have all your members here in a floating dialog here at the top, and then your active speaker will be displayed here in the center. Now it would be a similar situation or similar case for you when it comes to if it is a grid view, so everything is just going to be in a grid. And if not in a grid, then we're going to have a one-to-one. Now one-to-one is like if you think about a one-to-one calling, and since we're not initializing group calling inside this What's Flow tutorial, I am going to make it one-to-one since it's just one-to-one calling, and so the one user's screen will be overlaying the other. Now you can come and you can specify some different parameters here if you wanted to say, listen, if the amount of members that you can pass through as integer as a parameter, and do avoid updates, so checking for updates in the widget, and then you can pass that in. If it's over a certain amount, then you want to have one-to-one, otherwise you want to have grid, or you want to have, you know, floating, or whatever the case may be. So you can definitely turn this easily into a group calling screen if you want, and still manage different layouts. But now that that's done, let's go to our Agora video buttons. Right, we can see that we are passing into line. Now we can add additional information here. So let's copy this Agora video buttons out. Let's go to documentations, and then you can see that there's Agora video buttons and it's a class, right? Now this class has multiple things here, and you can add extra buttons, enabled buttons, and this is what we are going to look for, is enabled buttons. But we can then also pass in whether we want to screen share, right? What do we want to screen share, or do we want a cloud recording, all those values. Now I'm not going to allow cloud recording, so I'm going to turn that off, right? By saying false. And then also screen sharing, I want to turn that as false. Right. Now I also just want to do built-in buttons. So if I click on that and I open it up in a new one, then I can see that there's nice little values here, right? So let's go and we can say enable buttons, which is going to be of children. I want to give, remember this is an enum, so we can say built-in buttons, call end, and then do a few others, right? So because I'm not allowing screen sharing or cloud recording, I am only going to pass in switch camera, toggle camera, and toggle mic. And then we also want to access an action, right? We want to access this in call action from outside of our code. So to do that, we can add an on disconnect, and it's going to be in a sync action, right? Whoops, like that. And we now need to say, right, so there we can see it's already giving somewhat of a value here. I don't want to navigate pop context, and all I need to do is do that. Right, now there's also one more value that we need to add here, right? We are technically still in the call. We haven't disconnected yet. So how do we disconnect? We're going to say client, Agora client, and we want to say we want to leave this engine. So dot leave channel, just like that. All right, and we can save. Now I am just going to copy all of this out and then paste it inside of my Flutterflow. So let's enlarge this. Go here, paste, and I can save and proceed. There we go. I now have my call screen widget here. Right, now before the Ghost Coding basic voice channel, go on down to Discord. So let's bring that back over here. Let's expand this, grab all this code all the way down, like that. Come back into our application, and let's paste it in. So go all the way down and paste it and save. Great stuff. Right, so now back in our action flow, right, I want to create a second screen, which I'm going to call the video call screen. And to do that, I'm just going to duplicate this page. And this page, I'm going to say a video call screen, like that. And instead of this ghost coding basic voice channel widget, right, I am going to pass in, let's just wait for this, there we go. I'm going to pass in my Agora UI Kit video screen widget, there we go. And let's do 100, and let's do 100. We can pass in our app ID from our calls document, which is lying there. Grab our channel name, grab our token ID, where is it? There we go, token ID. Let's grab our username, which will be our display name, right? So authenticated user display name, and there we go. Let's add our action here, and our action is just going to be to update our document by saying to that add field, we're going to say user A joined, it's turning that to false, user B joined, turn that to false, and then finally we want to say call ended is set to true, just like that. Right, and we can close that out. Now we do need to make some other value changes here, such as I've added or duplicated this call button, which essentially just makes it, you recall the user. Now I just want to add it that this one now needs to navigate to a different screen while also initiating the call, because we have now a video call screen and then a standard call screen, right? So on this one, I'm going to open this up, update document, and then finally add an action, navigate to call screen. Well, let's do add an action. We're going to say navigate back first of all, right? And we're going to say navigate to call screen, allow back navigation, make an instant. We're going to pass in a value, and we can pass in this call reference, just like that. We could potentially also say replace route. So let's delete this, navigate back. There we go. All of these are added correctly, and there we go. Okay, and for this one, we'll just keep it as such, right? And the only thing is we want to come and specify that isVideo is true. Right, there we go, there we go. Non-blocking, non-blocking. Alright, let's go to our call screen page. There we go. Now again, you could just literally duplicate this button, and then on this one you want to navigate to, so add an action, navigate to your video call screen, replace route. You can make it an instant, and let's also pass our call reference. There we go. Just make sure that this update document under isVideo, you are setting that to be true. And then update document, and non-blocking. Perfect, that's it. Alright, now on our new call page, we are going to want to also start our video call from here, right? So I've got my recent called users, and then I have my contacts on what's flow users. So let's start off with this one. I am going to duplicate this button, right? Let's go in here. Sometimes it just wants to be difficult. So there we go. And I essentially just want to change this to a video player. There we go, like that. Alright. And we can open our action flow here. And now you will see that I have a custom action where I'm generating my token as well as my for my user. So I'm going to say video token like that. I want to come to my create document and I just want to update. So there we go, I'm getting it from my video token, and app ID I'm getting correctly. Is video is set to true. Video request, I can say that is true. Switch to video, definitely true. There we go. Alright. And I can come to add a few other things here, such as update document. I'm going to say the video call request, it's true. And yeah, that's it. Let's also update this one to say video call request, and that would be true, right? And then finally, navigate to call screen. We are going to navigate to our video call screen. We can scale and we can pass in our call reference, which would be our action outputs. So let's go and change that quick. Gonna have to change it. Oops. What did I do now? Let's close that real quick. Let's open up again. There we go. So action create video call. Right. Like that. And then under active call reference. There we go. I'm just going to copy this variable out to make sure that it's passed in everywhere else. That's true. Video call screen call reference. Let's paste it in there. There we go. Alright. Brilliant. That's all that there is for that one. And then we need to do something similar for this one. Let's just also go in here. Let's duplicate it there. There we go. Add our little video icon. Such. Go up. And let's generate token. Let's just call this video. So that I can just make sure that's passing correctly. Is video needs to be set to true. Video request can be set to true. It's just I've already added these values, but those are for when I want to switch to video calls. So now I can say whether we've actually switched. So now it's a video call, trigger specific values, but that is part of the more advanced part, which will be available to members, right? But other than that, video request, definitely we can keep that as true for the moment. Active call reference, so let's go up to create document, create video call request. Recent, there we go. Alright, let's update this. Let's have a look here. Create video call recent, that's correct. Let's copy this variable out because we're going to need it. I can actually just delete this. Delete loop actions. There we go. And then finally I want to navigate to my video call screen, scale and paste it, confirm. There we go. Right. Alright, so now all of this is connected and we can do some testing, but we still need to come and handle this box because we need to know which box or which screen do we need to navigate to. So I'm going to go to my incoming call box. I'm going to click on answer. I'm going to do this and let's move that one up. Right. This call screen, I can cut this action. I'm going to add a condition and I'm going to check whether this is a video call. So if it is video, then I don't want to navigate to call screen. Instead, I want to navigate to the video call screen. So video call screen and oops, I don't want to define, that was my bad. Let's go back here on the answer button. Let's open up. So pass in the call reference, confirm. There we go, that's all. Alright, and then finally we can do some testing. Alright, there we go. I've downloaded the APK and I've installed things. let's just head down. Let's grab our devices here, put them over here. Let's open it up and open it up. There we go. Right. Okay. Now I'm gonna go to my call section, right? And if we click on new call, we can now see that we have an additional button here, right, for video call. Let's actually start off by starting our video call. There we can see it's coming in, and I'm gonna answer it and allow using the app. There we go. Just quickly pause. So there you can see me on the one side, and there I am on the other side. Alright, so if I want to flip the cameras, so let's do that. Then there we can now see flipping the camera, and I can also see everything on the other side, right? Okay, so let's come back. Alright, so we can then also turn off the camera feeds, right, for the users. We can still see ourselves even though our cameras are turned off, but the other user can't see our feed. There we go. Right, let's end this call. So there you can see it now ended the call, so it updated the widget accordingly. Now you can go ahead and just make sure that it also checks on update, so that it insta-call both people, so that they both leave the channel. So the way we would do that is, let's head down to my Visual Studio Code again. Let's go in here. No, sorry. There we go. Alright. Now for the Agora UI kit then, what I want to go ahead and do is say voids on widgets update. Let's just go and grab that real quick. Alright, sorry, it's not on update, it is did update. So did update widget, right? So now it's giving us a few things there. I'm gonna say did updates. Just remove that. So type variants like that. Then I have my screen name there, an old widget, and then super did update widget, and we can say old widget. Now after this we need to check if something, right? And I'm gonna pass in a value here, which is gonna be required this dot call ended, right? And it's going to be of type boolean. So final bool call ended like that, and we can then do a check-in. So if we want to say widget dot call ended is not equals to old widget dot call ended like that. Let's add our closing bracket for this one here. Let's just make sure that we have everything. Yes. So then we want to essentially do the same thing as here. So we want to client.engine.leave channel like that. All right, that's it. All right, guys. Let me save that real quick, and let's copy all of this out. Just put this in Flutterflow. Let's go here. There we go. Right. Just like that. You can save it. Yes, add the required parameter. It's gonna throw us a little box there and say, listen, but you need to pass in this value. So we can do that. And we can just say call indet, grab our calls document and click on call indet. Right, that's all we need to do. Now in the future it would listen to our Firebase document to see if we've updated that document with the call indet. Therefore it will trigger the widget on the other side to also say, listen, the call is indet, so we also need to leave the channel for this client. Right. Let's also just quickly test out our voice calling to make sure that that's functioning as should. So I can go ahead and answer the call. Now, this is a site where we're going to have to fix these buttons as well, which we didn't do. The one will now be in the voice calling and the other one would be in the video calling. Right. So to fix that, let's head down to our video call screen like this. Let's show in editor like that. So on our video call screen on accept, we want to also do a check, right? And our check is essentially, so add a conditional, and we want to say calls document is video. So if it is video, then we don't want to do anything, but if it is not video, then we want to navigate to our standard call stream and we want to pass in our call reference. There we go. And we can replace the route and we can maybe do an instant. Right. Now I am going to then just move these down to the bottom so that it's quick and easy. There we go. Right. So update document. There we go. Alright, and we essentially need to do the same thing for our call screen, because what if we were in a voice call but we are now trying to answer a video call, right? Then we need to navigate to our appropriate screen. So let's go ahead in that, let's turn this one off. There we go. Just want to open there, grab my drag target, open up. And let's add a conditional check here, and it's going to be calls document is video. Then if it's true, then we want to navigate to our video call screen. We can make it instant and we can pass our call reference confirm, and let's do that. See here. Alright, everything is fine, and let's do a final test. Alright, let's quickly have a look. There we go, we are in our application. Right, okay, I'm gonna start a call now. Let's start a voice call this time to make sure that it navigates to the correct screen. I can answer my call, and there we go. Connected successfully, and we are in call. Now again, we can switch between speakers. We can end the call. Here we go. And finally, if we now click on this video call button and I answer the call, then both should be in the video call. So it seems this one was just taking a short while there to connect. It might just be a network connection issue on my side. Let's have a look. That echoing. See. Let's do that. Let's do this. See why it's having issues now. Let's possible that it's just a internet connection issue. So let's try again. Let's navigate back. There we go. Let's grab here and answer. Close my applications and try again, but I do think it's probably just network on my side currently. Oh, there we go. There we go. Right, so everything is functioning as it should. And there we go. Both devices. Alright. And that is all that there is to it. Now, again, you can go ahead and you can add some additional functionality, such as including inside of our Ghost Coding Basic voice channel. So if we have a look at our code here, let's open that up. Ghost Coding Basic voice channel. Let's just go here, say start code editing. So I'm in my basic Ghost Coding widget here, and we can just also again pass in a full value here called ended, right? And just come and add it here. So why this called ended. Add it anywhere else? I don't believe so. Alright, there we go. Alright, it was just taking a while to do. But essentially we can just now come in here and again we can say voids and that update widgets such. Let's just remove that void there. So, like that, and we can grab our name here, right? So we know that we are updating our widget, and then finally we can say if widget.call index, right, is not equals to old widget call index. Right, then we want to leave channel and all that nice stuff here. So there we go. That don't need to be null or anything, so that's fine. Let's go ahead. Let's grab this engine leave channel and release, and do the same here. So like that, perfect. All right, and we are good. You can save that and then just put this inside of your actual code here. Right, oh wait, not this one, yeah, this one, Ghost Coding voice channel. So just add it in here. Remember that you also need to then just add that call in the parameter. But other than that, then we're all good. Everything is functioning as should, and we can, yeah, we now have video calling using the Agora video UI kit. Now I will bring out a more advanced version where we will be custom coding our screen, so it will be one call screen that includes voice and video. We'll have some additional functionality such as muting and maybe some host controls, and yeah, we'll probably go through a few different methods that you can use to generate your tokens. But other than that, stay tuned for part 5, and part 5, it's going to be an exciting journey. We will be building out our own chat functionality using Firebase and Flutterflow. We'll maybe add some other custom code, but we'll definitely be incorporating BuyMeCDN. Now, if you don't know what BuyMeCDN is, stay tuned. We will hop into this, and I will give you also an affiliate link to make use of in order to register. Right, stay tuned, coming soon.